What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. It's PYP back at you with some boxing news. Mark, ¿cómo estás, Mark?
Good, man. Good. How you doing?
All right, doing good over here in New York, man. It's cold as fuck. Got a lot of snow. While it's cold over here, though, man, I got to tell you, things are heating up with boxing news, Mark. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's start with Shakur's retirement. We didn't think this was going to last long, and it lasted about 13 days. Shakur recently tweeted he's going to be back in June. No word on who the opponent's going to be. We know for sure it's not going to be Navarrete, and it's not going to be Lomachenko. Top Rank's going to be bringing somebody up from the roster and have them ready. We do know he has one more fight on his contract. What do you think about that, Mark?
You know what I like? I like everything about it. I mean, obviously we knew. We talked about it last time. He's a young kid, but you know what I do like? Teofimo's going to be available around the same time. And since he just took that big L, I don't see why they wouldn't make that fight. I know Teofimo is looking for bigger and higher fish, but right now, I know he won, but he took an L in the public eye. This is a perfect timing for that to happen in June. They're both with the same promoter, and Tio did take an L. He took a step back. I don't care what anybody says. I know he won. Now we can see this fight, and I would see Shakur beating him. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but
Yeah. We could talk a little bit more about Teofimo.
Shakur's retirement is over. Shakur's retirement is over, and I'm happy. He says it's in June. Teofimo's going to be ready in June.
Unless Shakur is signing a contract extension, I don't see Arum putting him in with one of the other top fighters at Top Rank. They're going to want him to at least be under contract for or an extension of some kind before throwing him in with one of their big name fighters. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But the short-lived retirement, he's back in boxing just like we thought he would be. We'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, obviously, Mark, I know you're a big fan of Shakur. If you're going to call Teofimo's performance against Ortiz an L, even though he won, we got to say Shakur's performance versus De Los Santos an L as well, despite winning that fight.
He owns it. He owns it. He owns that. He owns it.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, it's we got to call it both ways. Shakur's been on record.
He took an L.
Shakur's been on record. He said, I had a bad night. Let's go ahead and jump into the Teofimo fight. Teofimo, to me, got outshined by the prospects fighting on his undercard. He was promoted to be the big showman. His show was a dud. And I think the other youngsters on the card showed out. You had Abdullah Mason, who proved to be too much for Gurmit. A fighter out of Fort Worth, Texas, was just not on his level. Abdullah Mason didn't have to dig deep into his tool bag to take Gurmit out. Abdullah looks like he's going to be a problem, Mark.
Yeah, Abdullah looked really, really good. All those kids look good. Abdullah, especially, he does look like he's going to be a problem. The accuracy is insane. It's like he's got magnets in his gloves, and the face is metal, and it's just the accuracy is outstanding. The speed, the power, he's got it all, and he would know where his opponent would be moving to when he would throw that punch. It's amazing. The kid's got talent. I mean, accuracy, speed, power. He's got it all, and plus the determination, the will, and his discipline. His discipline is where I want it to go. It's going to take him extremely, extremely far.
Yeah, we call that punching where your opponent's going to be instead of where he is. And when you have opponents that are predictable, like Gurmit was, you can see like it's pretty easy to figure them out. Abdullah had no problem doing that. We'd like to see how he does when he steps up his competition. Also on the card, Mark, we had Keyshawn Davis, who stopped Pedraza in 6 rounds. I got to admit, Mark, Pedraza looked a little cooked to me. He kind of sold out early in the fight because he knew he wasn't going to be able to give Keyshawn a long, drawn-out boxing match. So he turned to an aggressive strategy. Pedraza hadn't made 135 in, 4 years? You could see it in him. He was a little desperate in that ring, but credit to Keyshawn, took him apart. He was very patient when he did it. It was very precise as well. Keyshawn looks like he's back and focused.
Yeah, Keyshawn looks very, very focused. I like His recommitment to his craft. I like his recommitment to his religion. It showed big time. He didn't shy away from his problems. He talked about substance abuse and things like that, and things that he was doing during camp. He had a great performance against an outstanding guy.
Right. And Pedraza, former world champ, has a lot of experience, but he hadn't made that weight in a long time. There's a reason why he hasn't made that weight in a long time. And it was the right moment and the right circumstances for Keyshawn to push a guy who was standing on the edge of a cliff, pushed him over, gave him the extra nudge that he needed. Keyshawn had some words for Teofimo. They actually had a little issue at the press conference prior to the fight. Keyshawn kind of put in Teofimo on the spot, saying Teofimo asked him not to call him out after he beats Pedraza. And guess what Keyshawn does right after that? He actually calls Teofimo out right after beating Pedraza.
What do you want next? Teofimo been doing a lot of talking lately, so hey, I go up to 140 and fight Teofimo. What's up? Get this win tonight. Teofimo, you already know how I'm coming. You and your father.
First of all, let's just say this fight's not going to happen. Aram's not going to allow it to happen. He's stated publicly Keyshawn's not ready for Teofimo, even though he might be able to beat him. He says he's not ready. He's still too young to go into a fight, and even move. He's moving up in weight. Is this all hot air, or do you think Keyshawn really thinks he can do this?
No, Keyshawn really thinks he can do this, and I think most of America watching Keyshawn that night and Teofimo Lopez that night know that that is a very easy fight for Keyshawn. I really think Teofimo just pretty much exposed himself. Everybody knows how to beat him now. It's going to be pretty easy for a Keyshawn. It's going to be easy for a Shakur.
Well, let's break this down a little bit. Teofimo is a guy that has all the talent in the world. He has speed. He has power. He may not be the puncher that he was at 135 pounds, but he's still a puncher. And you don't see people running up on Teofimo testing his power. He's just not the KO artist that he was at 135. When it comes to Teofimo Lopez, he kind of fights at the level of his competition. So if you look back at all the great fighters, they've had stinky bouts, but when it comes down to it, great fighters find a way to take care of their A, B, and C level opponents. Teofimo
Yeah.
seems to fight down to his competition. If he's fighting a C level opponent, he's going to fight at a C plus. That's really a problem for him. It seems like he only gets up for the big fights. It seems like he only gets up for dangerous fighters. He was not in with a dangerous fighter in Ortiz. You put a little wager on Ortiz. I thought you were crazy for that. When I was watching the fight, I said, oh my goodness, I think this dude is going to pull it off, because I could see Teofimo was having problems with his lateral movement. But do you know what? This was Ortiz's fight to lose, and he lost because he didn't throw enough punches. He simply wasn't active enough. I think he could have took this fight because he had Teofimo confused, and he just did not throw enough punches in order to take this fight. And he tried to squeak by with a win, and he didn't have enough. He didn't leave enough space for him to do that. So I really think Ortiz blew it. He had the lotto ticket and he didn't cash it in. I still think Teofimo is a top fighter at 140. I don't know that he's as great as he thinks he is, but he has all the tools, Mark. Maybe he just needs another trainer, because cutting off the ring, it's not easy, but it is something. It is a trick or a tool that you need to have in your tool bag.
I think Ortiz, he did what he wanted to do. He fooled everybody, right? He
Yeah, he
fooled the
did.
whole world. He told everybody he was going to go for the knockout.
Yep.
He told everybody he was not really going to change up. Well, he fought the whole fight as a southpaw and screwed Teofimo up. Ortiz just did a great job, but he just didn't finish it. He completely took Teofimo's offense out with his leg work and fighting southpaw and turning and running around him. Teofimo's offense was non-existent. He had no offense.
Mark,
Problem is, yeah, he just didn't finish with his own offense. And I'm not mad either way. It's one of those fights that could have gone either way, and I wouldn't have been upset either way. It was a horrible fight anyway. But
that's what I was mad about.
it was a
It was a
horrible
horrible
fight.
fight, and I was
Yeah.
expecting more from a main event.
It was pretty. I was pretty disappointed, even more disappointed than you are in Teofimo. I mean, he honestly looked really bad to
He
me.
did.
I mean, he looked like a cartoonish character just chasing a guy from corner to corner, like never knowing what to do. This guy's ring IQ is ridiculously low. If this guy was like a Madden game or a boxing game where you watch all the stamina and the power and everything would be at 90, 95, 90. And the ring IQ is ridiculously low, like at zero. And that is where the problem comes in with him. I don't think he steps up or steps down to his opponent. I think his biggest challenge is his ring IQ and his trainer's ring IQ.
Real quickly, do you think a trainer would make a difference a new trainer would make a difference in Teofimo's corner?
100%, because the trainer's going to even recognize a new trainer, a really good trainer, a Robert Garcia, any one of your big names is going to
Well,
realize
it
this
doesn't
guy's
even have to be
limited in
Garcia. There are good trainers
any
in New
big name.
York.
There's good trainers.
Joey Gamache
Joey Gamache.
was working with Teofimo before this, and he had Teofimo looking in top form when they were together. But I think you're right. If they were to try to go into another direction with another trainer, or just bring someone in to keep working with the team, I think that might make a difference and make a world of difference for Teofimo. Mark,
Yeah,
let's go ahead.
somebody with just a tad more experience
Mm-hmm.
is going to realize how bad his ring IQ is and adjust for that.
Okay, I don't think it's that bad.
I think it's that bad.
I don't think
it's
it's that bad.
bad.
I think Teofimo has some ring smarts, but he does need that extra eye to tell him, hey man, these are some things we need to do. Take that step to the right, and notice what's going on. Tell him to take that step to the right. Even if you don't fully cut the ring off, you're at least impeding or putting an obstacle between where your opponent wants to go. But that said, I'm not a boxing expert, but I just think somebody to tell him what to do and when to do it, he'll be able to execute. I give you this: his boxing IQ isn't as high as some of the other fighters.
Extremely low.
But I don't think it's that low. Mark, let's go ahead and talk about Canelo's big announcement. There was much ado about nothing as far as American news goes. Canelo was reported to be on TV Azteca. He was going to have this big announcement made. Twitter was up in a roar about it the last couple days. And honestly, it just turned out to be big news for Mexican boxing fans. Canelo will be continuing his agreement with TV Azteca. They're going to continue to broadcast his fights for free. There's been a push to try to bring the pay-per-view market to Mexico. Canelo is not having it. He wants his fans in Mexico to be able to enjoy his fights without having to pay for them. This is a great move, right, Mark?
Yeah, that's a really good move. I was also, I don't know why I'm on the border. I get Mexican newspapers here. I get everything. I had no idea this was going on yesterday until late evening. So I started reading into it, looking into it. Okay. So I started watching immediately on the Mexican side. Pretty much everybody on the Mexican side knew exactly what happened today. Everybody in Mexico's been wondering. Their contracts were up. People were kind of wondering if they were going to have to start paying for their pay-per-view or not. And this was basically Canelo renewing his contract with Azteca for the duration. I don't even think they said how long it's going to be, but it was a renewal of his Azteca contract. And yeah, Mexico will still be getting pay-per-view for free. Pretty much every pay-per-view event is free in Mexico anyway, but it is good that they'll continue to get his fights for free.
There were rumors that it was going to be an announcement for either a Bud Crawford, Jermall Charlo, or Jaime Munguia fight. We know Jaime Munguia is off the table for now, at least. One little bit of information that they did give us was that Canelo's opponent in May in Las Vegas will be an American. That narrows it down somewhat, but not a whole lot. We do know that Jermall Charlo is American. So is Bud Crawford. But you know who else is American as well? David Benavidez. Not likely that it's going to be him, but for what it's worth, those are the facts. Anyway, Mark, let's talk about some fights that have been made. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia are official for April 20th in Las Vegas. It's a done deal. And these two have already got into a heated altercation. Did you get to see any of that, Mark?
Yeah, man, it looked like a High School Musical, right? With the freaking hair back and the leather jacket. I mean, that was super staged.
Right.
Uh,
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I thought it was. I was
well,
about to say it
I
looks
mean,
staged.
they weren't secret about it, David. We had Jane was right in the middle of it, the producer for Golden Boy. She
Yeah.
was right there. We know she's a media producer. She was literally smiling right there in the middle of them. All the other producers and everybody that we see at these events that we go to were all around them. So they weren't, you know, secret about hiding that it was just a
And
media publicity event.
Mark, there's
But
even
yeah,
video.
it was really cool though. It was really cool. I liked it. I liked it.
Mark, there was even video of Haney's dad coaching him through the face off, like telling him
Yeah.
push up on him, or
Yeah.
push him now. And it's like, really? Are we giving stage
Yeah.
directions in the
A
middle
little.
of this all? Guys,
Yeah.
these two dudes are big on social media. You know, hey, they're trying to hype up the fight. I get it. But I mean, come on, guys. This isn't the WWE.
Yeah. And then they announced it that morning, and it happened that afternoon.
Mark, 20
Uh,
seconds. Who do you think wins this fight?
Oh man, Haney. Christmas comes early for Haney. One, he gets the gimme that I said he needs. Two, he gets a biggest payday anybody's gonna get probably this year
This
because he's
year,
fighting Ryan.
aside from Canelo. Yeah,
I mean, because he's fighting Ryan. Eh, and three, he's gonna get a hell of a lot more popular after beating him. I mean,
absolutely.
it's a win, win, win.
Yeah,
Everything.
and I agree with you. I think Haney has to be favored here. I see him cleaning Garcia out over 12 rounds, and I think it could still be a good fight, though. Anyway, another fight, Mark, that I'm very happy that's finally been made as well. Beterbiev versus Bivol. It's official for June 1st in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. People complaining that Saudi Arabia is going to take over boxing. It's not good for the USA or for these fights to leave. You know what? It's not true. Saudi Arabia has their eyes on only a certain amount of fights that want to be made, right? That they want to make. And this is one of those fights that if it wasn't for Saudi Arabia, this fight would not be taking place because there's no market for it in the US. You have two Russian champions at 175 pounds. There's no market for them here. There's no market for them in Canada. There's no market for them in the UK. So where are they supposed to fight, right? I think it's
Yeah.
great. This is one of the things that this whole Riyadh season is beneficial for boxing fans because some of these fights that we want to see or that we're curious about seeing are finally getting made. Are you looking forward to this fight?
I'm really not big on it. I was big on Bivol when he fought Canelo. I'll watch it because I'm a boxing fan, but I'm not head over heels for it. I'm not
Wow.
big on Euros, man. I like it.
You
It's a
got to
good
stop
fight.
saying
I'll watch
Euros,
it.
bro.
It's gonna be entertaining. They're Russians, man. That
But they're
I
not.
don't even.
No. Exactly. They're Russians. They have high amateur pedigrees.
I'll have to do my research on here, but I'm pretty sure they're Euros.
They're not
Uh,
Euros, man. Bivol looks
yeah.
Korean, man. What are you talking about? Anyway, whatever.
Yeah,
Uh, here, I'll tell you
I
what.
want to
I'm
watch
excited.
it, but I'm not excited. Excited. I'm not as excited as I am for Haney Ryan, and that's not even as good as a fight as this. And
That's
you
what
know
I'm
what I mean?
saying. I don't know how a boxing fan couldn't be more excited for a unification, an undisputed fight at 175 pounds. Like this is a big deal. These guys have been circling each other for years. I know I'm genuinely excited about this. I think this is a better fight and a bigger fight than Ryan Haney. Although I know Ryan Haney is going to do way bigger numbers than this fight will. Another fight,
And it's going to be a better fight than Ryan. But I mean, the
yeah.
event and everything. I want to see that. I'm more excited for that. I mean,
You
who
like the
is?
Cheeseman, man. I don't care about the Cheeseman. I care about the sporting aspect of it, but it's all good. Mark, this Friday, we got a lot of boxing action coming forward here in New York. Oaxaca Foster, Orange, Texas's own, will be fighting Abraham Nova at the theater in Madison Square Garden. PYP will be in the house covering the media events for that fight. Mark, these two actually have history. They've been watching each other since they were prospects. And it turns out Nova had some words for Foster saying that he didn't think he was that good. So they had a little beef, even going back to when they were prospects. Foster is coming into this fight with a chip on his shoulder because he is the champ now and Nova is the challenger. So I think there's a little bit of a, now I'm going to show you how good I really am edge to him. You can hear it in his interviews that he's been talking about in the lead up to this fight. How do you think this fight goes?
This one I'm really, really excited for because of Oshaki Foster. His career is really, really cool. His story is really, really cool. I believe he's been to prison. He's got that comeback story. I think this is a year for him to break out as a really good, champ, an elite level, not elite, but this is his year to come out and be popular, to make a name for himself. He is the WBC champion. He probably had one of the fights of the year last year, but still not a lot of people know who he is. He's fighting in Madison Square Garden. I'm excited for that. I think he should take care of Nova, but I never heard of him, and I started watching some film on this guy, and he's not going to be easy.
He's not going to be easy. He had a fight with El Tren, Robesi Ramirez, and even Robesi, who's very aggressive, was a little weary of this guy early in the fight. And then he got aggressive and took him out.
He took him out, but early it was a very competitive, tense, what do I do here type of match for the both of them. This guy's not easy, but I expect Oshaki Foster to beat him and continue on his really cool story. Did he go to prison? He went to prison,
right? Jail. He did a 6-month bid down in Texas, but he turned his life around. He was actually headed into a wrong direction in life. He had lost a couple of fights early in his career. People started to doubt that he was a high pedigree talent, that he looked like he was going to be in the amateurs, but he got his life together. And then when he got with his trainer, Bobby Benton, and his new manager, they've really, really helped get Oshaki back onto the right track. And it looks like Marky's going to fulfill the promise that he showed early in his career. He's going to have a lot of options if he comes out of this fight victorious. Joe Cordina has been mentioned. He's also talked about fighting Oscar Valdez. So got some options if he comes out and wins. Another fight happening the same night on Friday. Adrian Curiel is fighting Nonshinga in a rematch in Oaxaca, Curiel's hometown. The first fight was a huge upset. It came out of nowhere. Nonshinga was knocked out in the second round of their first fight. People are saying it was a lucky shot. I don't think so, Mark. We were watching that fight. You see Curiel, who kind of switch hits. He fights southpaw and right-handed. He was setting up that shot from the very beginning of the fight, throwing jabs and straight rights to Nonshinga's body, bringing that guard down, classic tactic, and it ended up paying dividends. Do you think Curiel will win this rematch against Nonshinga, or did Nonshinga just get caught off guard?
I think it's a little bit of both. I believe Adrian Curiel did work for it, like me and you saw, and we did talk about it. He did set that up, but it took him a little bit to set it up. But Nonshinga did get caught with it. And of course you get caught, not knowing that it's coming. That's why you're trying to set up a pop shot. But, it's a little bit of both. But I don't expect that to happen again. What I do expect to happen this time is a knockdown, drag-out fight that we usually see at 108. Probably the most entertaining fight of the weekend.
Yeah, we'll see. Nonshinga definitely has skills. He's a really sharp and quick counterpuncher. I think one of the things that led to him getting caught was him staying on the ropes when he was trying to circle Curiel. I think if he does a better job at staying off the ropes, he'll be able to move around and avoid those overhand rights from Curiel. But I think this is going to be a good fight. Can't wait to see how it turns out.
That was weird of him the last time. Shinga did hang around the ropes, and I think he was trying to pull something off that he never could on the ropes. I don't think he's going to try that again. I literally don't think he was forced on the ropes. I really think the last time he was trying to do something.
He was going back to the ropes when,
Curiel was trying to figure something out.
Curiel was pressuring him, but he was going back to the ropes when he could have just pivoted and
Yeah.
turned him.
Or maybe trying to pull something off when you go back to the ropes, pull something off when you come out, or kind of bait him in.
Bounce
He
off
was
it.
trying something that didn't work, and I don't think he's going to do that this time. And I think we're going to see a different fight. I don't think Adrian Curiel is going to come out with the same stuff either. Maybe he'll try it late, but not come out with it. So it's going to be more of a tactical fight, and I think it's going to get really good at the end.
All right, man. Well, that'll do it for this week's news and notes, Mark. PYP will be in the house for the Oaxaca Foster Abraham Nova Supernova fight.
The Manhattan Mexicano is going to be on the scene, man. The Manhattan Mexicano.
So we'll be bringing you some coverage there. Be looking out for that later on this week. And as always, Mark, tell everybody what they need to do.
Like, comment, and subscribe, people. Please, 1, 2, 3. That 1, 2, 3 combo. Thank you.
Oh, shout out to everybody that got us over 500 now. We're over 500. That's a big.
We're at 541.
Now we're on the road to 1,000, y'all. Appreciate everybody that tunes in. Hit that like button. Let us know which event you're looking forward to. What do you think about the news we just talked about? We love talking with you guys. Peace.
Putazos y Pendejadas Podcast.